Well, hello everybody and welcome to Jeff's Baking Vlog. Today I'm going to be making some shortbread, but this is shortbread with a difference. I'm going to do a crumble top shortbread with some blueberry curd. Now, I've never made blueberry curd before, I just had the idea for it. So I have here some blueberry puree. How I got that was that I took 200 grams of blueberries and with about a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons of water, and I brought them, put them on the heat and then softened the blueberries until the liquid started to come out of them. Then I put them through a sieve to get rid of any seeds and such like, and what I've ended up with is 130 grams of this puree. To go with that, I'm going to put just a teaspoon of lemon juice just to give it a slight tang, because blueberries don't always have too much flavour. And I have 1 large egg, 70 grams of butter and 70 grams of caster sugar. Usually when doing a curd you would use a lot more sugar, but because the blueberries don't have the tartness of something like lemon, I don't think you need as much sugar. So the first thing to do is to put them on the heat. So you put the blueberries on the heat, the blueberry puree, and add in the butter, the lemon juice and the sugar, and you want to heat that through until the butter has melted. Now, with this is what we know as a bain-marie or a double boiler. So you've got the bowl over a saucepan of water which is going to boil or simmer, but you don't want the water to touch the bowl. And you're just going to keep stirring it until the butter has melted, at which time we're going to add in our egg, and then it's very important to keep stirring it all the time, otherwise the egg will start to cook and curdle. But you'll stir it until the whole mixture thickens nicely. Now, while we're just melting this, I'll tell you about the other ingredients I have. I have 350 grams of plain flour, 130 grams of caster sugar and 50 grams of corn flour, and in the fridge I have 290 grams of cold butter cut into cubes. I'm leaving that in the fridge for the time being because we want that to be cold when we start working with it. I'll just get a paper towel to put that whisk on, because the blueberry will stain if it touches anything. Okay, so my curd has thickened, not quite as thick as I was expecting, and it's taken quite a while, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pour that into a jug. And I'm going to set that aside to cool completely. Put it in the fridge. Once it's cooled, it will firm up a little bit then. And I'm going to cover it with cling film on the surface so that it doesn't form a skin. It's trying to form a skin already, so I'll cover that with cling film, and then I'll set up and I'll start on the shortbread. I'll be back with you when I'm ready to do that. Okay, so I'm back with you. I've greased my 8-inch cake tin, and I'm going to put the flour and the sugar and the corn flour together. So remember, this is 350 grams of plain flour, 50 grams of corn flour and 130 grams of caster sugar. And into that I'm going to drop 290 grams of cold butter, unsalted. You could use salted, it wouldn't matter particularly. I usually use unsalted. And then we'll just coat the batter, and we're going to rub it in our fingers, between our fingers, until we have a breadcrumb consistency. So this is a reasonable consistency. I have a couple of little lumps of butter still there, but I think that's fine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take 2/3 of it and put it in the pan. Now, from the weight of all the ingredients, I know I have 820 grams. So 810 grams divides nicely by 3 into 527, so 540 grams, 550 grams will be good. So I'm going to weigh this dish and take 550 grams out of it. That will leave me with 635 grams, including the weight of the bowl. So that's it. Put that to one side. So I'm going to spread this out in the cake tin. As evenly as I can. And press it down. Not too severely, but just level it off as much as I can. And then I'm going to get a fork and I'm going to prick I have to press it down a bit firmer, I think, because it's coming up. Now I should say I have my oven preheating at 180 Celsius, 350 Fahrenheit, 160 Celsius if you're using a fan oven. Right, now I'm going to prick it. And I'm going to cook that in the oven for 30 to 35 minutes. And then I'll take that out of the oven and we'll put the blueberry puree on it, blueberry curd should I say, on it. Then top it with the rest of this crumb and cook it for a further 15 to 20 minutes. So I'll be back with you when I've taken it out of the oven in about 30 to 35 minutes time. Okay, so now I'm back with you and our shortbread has cooked and it's still warm, but I've let it cool down just a little bit. Now I'm going to very quickly put some of this curd on and spread it all over. Like that. That may be rather too much, we'll soon find out. And then the rest of our bread, shortbread goes on the top. And spread that out to the edges, pressing it down very lightly. You don't want to press it down too much. It will sink into the curd anyway, I think, as it bakes. And that's going back in the oven for 15 to 20 minutes. Then I'm going to take it out, let it cool down, and then take it out of the pan, and I'll be back with you to show you the result. Okay, so now I'm back with you, and I baked the shortbread for a further 20 minutes once I put the topping on. Took it out of the oven and I allowed it to cool completely before I turned it out, and then I cut it into 8 pieces, but I've cut one piece in 2 because they seem to be rather large pieces. So that's basically what it looks like, with the shortbread and then the blueberry curd and then the crumble topping. So I'll have a little taste of it. Now, that really is lovely. It's so buttery from the shortbread, and it has that nice hit of the blueberry curd in it. Very nice indeed. Let's have another little go. I think that's perfect. I think you could even have that as a dessert with some whipped cream or something. It would be wonderful. Of course, I should say that you don't need to use blueberry curd. You can use any curd you want, and you don't actually have to make your own. You can buy it from a shop. The quality of lemon curd in shops is usually pretty good. So if you did that, if you bought in some curd, then the actual process of making this would be much, much quicker than it's taken me. Well, that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, excuse me, if you have, please give me the thumbs up by clicking on the thumb below, the hand below the video, and click to subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. I'll also put a link below the video to the recipe, and in the top right hand corner of the screen, if you hover the cursor over the video screen, you'll see an eye that you can click, and that will also give you a link to the recipe. So that's it for today. I'll be back with you soon with another recipe. So in the meantime, happy baking.